The African savanna is not a place of comfort. It is a place of balance, and that balance is maintained through hunger, competition, and loss. Every living thing here survives only as long as it can adapt. Strength matters, but awareness matters more. Timing matters. And sometimes, a single decision determines whether a life continues or ends. As the first light of morning spreads across the plains of southern Africa, the land appears calm. Tall grasses sway gently in the wind. Birds call from distant trees. But beneath this quiet surface, tension never disappears. Predators move, prey listens, and mothers prepare for battles they never chose. In the Sherrod region near South Africa's Sabi Sands Reserve, a seasoned lioness moved slowly through the grass. Her body was lean, marked with old scars from fights long past. Her breathing was heavy, not from exhaustion alone, but from the weight she carried within her. She was close to giving birth. This was not her first litter. She understood the risks. She knew that bringing new life into this world meant exposing herself and her cubs to danger. Hyenas followed her scent from a distance. Vultures circled high above, not waiting for death, but anticipating it. In the wild, even birth attracts attention. The lioness searched carefully for a place to hide. Somewhere protected. Somewhere difficult to reach. Somewhere that would give her cubs a chance to survive their first fragile weeks. Eventually, she chose a cluster of thorn trees near a shallow depression in the land. The thorns formed a natural barrier, sharp and unforgiving, deterring many predators. It was not perfect, but perfection does not exist here. She lowered herself to the ground as the sun dipped below the horizon. The night air cooled quickly. Stars appeared overhead, and before dawn arrived, 2 cubs entered the world. One was female. One was male. At first glance, everything seemed normal. The cubs were small, blind, and helpless as all lion cubs are at birth. They pressed against their mother's body, instinctively seeking warmth and nourishment. The lioness licked them clean, her rough tongue stimulating their breathing and circulation. This was routine, familiar, necessary. For the first few days, she barely left them. Hunger pulled at her, but caution held her back. Leaving newborn cubs unattended, even briefly, could mean death. So she endured the discomfort, relying on stored energy, waiting until it was safe to move. As days passed, the cubs grew stronger. Their eyes opened. Their movements became more coordinated. They began to explore the small space around them, clumsily crawling over roots and stones. The female cub was quick to adapt. She responded eagerly to her mother's touch, her tiny body wriggling with energy. The male cub was different. Even at this early stage, he moved less. He nursed more slowly. His breathing was uneven. While his sister pressed forward with curiosity, he lingered behind, often collapsing into sleep after minimal effort. At first, the lioness showed no concern. Cubs develop at different rates. Variation is normal. But as the days turned into weeks, the difference became impossible to ignore. The lioness began relocating the cubs regularly, carrying them gently in her mouth to new hiding places. This behavior is essential for survival. Staying in one location too long increases the risk of discovery by predators. Each move was calculated, each new den chosen carefully. The female cub adapted quickly. She tolerated the moves, clinging to her mother, recovering quickly after each relocation. The male struggled. Each journey exhausted him. His small body trembled when set down. He panted heavily, resting longer than his sister before attempting to stand. The lioness noticed. She slowed her pace. She paused more often. She waited for him to catch up when he fell behind. Waiting, however, carries consequences. Every delay increases exposure. Every pause increases the chance of being seen or heard. Still, she waited. Maternal instinct is powerful, even in a place that punishes weakness. As the weeks passed, the female cub grew stronger. Her muscles developed. Her coordination improved. She began practicing stalking behaviors, crouching low, pouncing on insects, learning through play. These early games are not meaningless. They are rehearsals for survival. The male cub did not participate much. He watched. He observed. When he tried to play, he tired quickly. His ribs became visible beneath his fur. His legs shook when he stood for too long. His breathing never fully stabilized. The lioness groomed him frequently. She licked his face, his ears, his body, encouraging circulation, reinforcing bonds. She nudged him gently when he lay still, urging him to move. Sometimes he responded. Sometimes he did not. Hunger became a constant pressure. The lioness needed to hunt more often to feed herself and provide milk. Each hunt meant leaving the cubs hidden and vulnerable. Each return brought relief, but also concern. The female cub greeted her with energy. The male often remained where he was left, conserving energy, barely lifting his head. One afternoon, under a relentless sun, the lioness began moving the cubs again. The grass was dry. Shade was scarce. The ground radiated heat. The journey was longer than usual, but staying was no longer safe. The female cub followed closely. The male lagged behind almost immediately. He stumbled, regained his footing, stumbled again. The lioness stopped, waited. She looked back repeatedly, assessing his condition. Finally, near a dry riverbed etched into the land by seasons long past, the male cub collapsed. He did not cry. He did not struggle. He simply lay still, his small chest rising and falling unevenly. The lioness approached him quickly. She sniffed his face, licked his ears, nudged him gently with her nose. She applied pressure with her paw, encouraging him to stand. He did not respond. For several moments she stood over him, her body tense, her head raised, scanning the horizon. This was not just concern. It was calculation. Every second mattered. Then she heard it. A roar. Low, distant, but unmistakable. A male lion. Not her mate. An intruder moving through the territory. Her ears flattened. Her muscles tightened. Her breathing changed. The sound carried authority and danger. Male lions do not tolerate unfamiliar cubs. Infanticide is a brutal reality. Killing another male's offspring ensures dominance and reproductive control. The lioness looked down at the cub, then toward the sound, then back again. The cub was alive, barely. If she stayed, the intruding male could find them. He could kill the cubs. He could injure or kill her. If she moved, she could escape, but the male cub could not keep up. The savanna does not allow time for mourning. She took a step away, stopped, looked back. The cub's sides still moved. Another roar echoed, closer now. The decision was made not with cruelty, but with necessity. The lioness turned and walked into the tall grass, taking the stronger cub with her. The male cub was left behind, alone. As the sun dipped lower, shadows stretched across the land. The temperature dropped quickly. Night approached, bringing with it a different set of dangers. Hyenas emerged from their dens. Jackals moved through the darkness. Insects crawled freely across the ground. The cub lay where he had fallen. His body was weak, his senses overwhelmed. He remained still, instinct telling him that movement would attract attention. Stillness, in this moment, was his only defense. The night was long. Sounds surrounded him. Distant laughter of hyenas, rustling grass, wing beats overhead. Cold air seeped into his small body. He shivered, curling in on himself, conserving what little energy he had. Morning arrived. The sun rose, casting light over a cub that should not have been alive. But he was. Barely. He lifted his head, slowly, painfully. His mouth was dry. Hunger clawed at him, but he breathed. He existed. Days passed. The cub did not move far. He crawled toward shade when the sun became unbearable. He drank from shallow puddles left behind by elephants. Muddy water filled with bacteria, but water nonetheless. He scavenged scraps abandoned by vultures, bits of tissue, fragments of bone. Each meal was dangerous. Each movement risked discovery. His body remained small. His growth was stunted. But something else began to develop. Awareness. He learned when to move and when to stay still. He learned the sounds of danger. He learned that silence was protection, that visibility was death. Weeks turned into months. Scars formed on his body. His coat became rough. His muscles, though limited, hardened. He did not play. He did not roam. He watched. Other lions passed nearby but did not notice him. He stayed low. He stayed hidden. He survived not by strength, but by invisibility. Far away, his mother continued her life. She raised the surviving cub. She hunted. She defended territory. But the absence of the male cub lingered in ways she could not articulate. The savanna does not allow reflection, but it does not erase memory either. As seasons changed, pressure increased. Hyenas pushed closer. Rival lions tested boundaries. Food became harder to find. The lioness accumulated new scars. She aged. Meanwhile, rangers patrolling the area began noticing something unusual. A young male lion. Alone. He appeared briefly near waterholes, then vanished. He left no tracks that lingered. He avoided open spaces. He never joined a pride. He never challenged others. He did not roar. They began calling him the ghost. Because he was there, and then he was gone. And this is where the story begins to change. The young male lion continued to live in the margins of the savanna, existing between moments rather than within them. He did not belong to any pride. He did not announce himself with roars or challenge others for territory. He moved quietly, cautiously, always aware that his survival depended on not being noticed. Days blended into weeks and weeks into months. The dry season tightened its grip on the land. Waterholes shrank. Prey animals migrated or weakened. Competition intensified. For a solitary young lion, these conditions were unforgiving. Yet the ghost adapted. He learned the routines of other predators, memorizing when hyenas arrived at carcasses and when they left. He waited at a distance, hidden in tall grass or behind termite mounds, until it was safe to approach. Often he fed only briefly, tearing away what he could before retreating again into cover. His body grew slowly, but it grew strong in its own way. His muscles were lean and efficient, built for sudden bursts rather than prolonged fights. His senses sharpened. He detected movement others missed. He sensed danger before it appeared. Rangers continued to catch glimpses of him. Always alone, always alert, never lingering long enough to be approached. Camera traps recorded his presence at night, his eyes reflecting light as he passed silently through the darkness. They noticed something else. He avoided confrontation at all costs. When other males appeared, he withdrew. When larger predators approached, he disappeared. He did not test his strength against others, because he understood something most lions only learn through injury or death. Survival was not about dominance, it was about timing. While the ghost refined his ability to remain unseen, his mother's circumstances deteriorated. Her territory, once stable, became contested. Hyenas encroached more frequently, their numbers growing, their confidence increasing. They followed her hunts closely, harassing her, stealing kills whenever possible. Each confrontation drained energy she could not afford to lose. The cub she had kept, the female, matured into a capable young lioness. She assisted in hunts, learned defensive behaviors, and stayed close to her mother. But 2 lions were not enough to control territory in an increasingly hostile environment. Rival males began testing the borders. Their scent markings appeared on trees and rocks. Their roars echoed at night, closer than before. Each sound carried a warning. Territory was being challenged. The lioness responded when necessary, roaring back, asserting presence. But age and exhaustion weighed on her. Old wounds ached. New ones formed. The savanna does not slow down for those who have already given everything. One evening, as the sun dipped low and shadows stretched across the land, the air felt different. The birds fell silent. Prey animals moved nervously. Even the wind seemed to pause. The lioness rested beneath an acacia tree, conserving energy after a failed hunt. Her daughter lay nearby, alert but calm. They were vulnerable in this moment, exposed in open terrain, but fatigue left little choice. Then he appeared. A large male lion emerged from the tall grass at the edge of the territory. His mane was dark and full, framing a face hardened by years of dominance and violence. His movements were deliberate, confident. He was not exploring. He was invading. This male had fought before. He bore scars across his shoulders and flanks, evidence of past victories. He did not hesitate when he saw the lioness. He charged. The attack was sudden and explosive. Dust erupted as bodies collided. The lioness reacted instantly, rising to meet him, roaring as she struck out with claws and teeth. For a moment, the fight seemed evenly matched. But strength and mass mattered. The male forced her backward, driving her to the ground. His jaws closed around her shoulder, crushing muscle and bone. Pain surged through her body. She struggled, twisting, biting, clawing, but her movements slowed as the pressure increased. Her daughter fled. Instinct overrode loyalty. The young lioness ran into the grass, disappearing as she had been taught. Survival sometimes demands separation. The mother roared. The sound tore through the night, raw and desperate. It echoed across the plains, carrying fear and defiance in equal measure. That roar traveled farther than anyone could have predicted. From the tall grass not far away, another lion heard it. The ghost. He had been moving through the area, tracking the same scarcity, navigating the same dangers. The sound stopped him instantly. His body tensed, his head lifted, his ears rotated toward the source. He did not know why the sound mattered, but it did. He moved toward it, carefully at first, then faster. As he approached, he assessed the situation quickly. The shapes, the movements, the sounds. A large male. A lioness pinned to the ground. Blood. Dust. Chaos. The ghost did not roar. He did not hesitate. He attacked. His body slammed into the intruding male's side with force born of desperation and precision. The impact disrupted the attacker's balance, loosening his grip. The male turned in confusion, startled by an assault he had not anticipated. The ghost struck again. He targeted the legs, the vulnerable joints. He bit and clawed, not aiming for dominance but for disruption. Years of avoiding conflict had taught him where to strike to create space. The fight erupted into chaos. Dust filled the air, growls overlapped, bodies twisted and collided. The intruding male, injured and surprised, attempted to reassert control, but the advantage was gone. Pain slowed him. Confusion weakened him. The ghost pressed the attack just long enough. Then he stopped. The intruder retreated, bleeding, limping, furious but unwilling to risk further injury. The ghost did not chase. He turned back toward the lioness. She lay on the ground, breathing heavily, her body shaking with pain and exhaustion. Blood darkened her fur. Her eyes were open, alert despite the trauma. The ghost approached slowly, cautiously. They locked eyes. For a moment, neither moved. Something passed between them. Recognition did not arrive as memory. It arrived as instinct, as familiarity, as something older than thought. The lioness did not attack. She did not flee. She watched him. He stood still, head low, body relaxed but ready. Mother and son faced each other in silence. Then the ghost stepped back. He turned, and he disappeared into the tall grass once more. The lioness survived that night. Her injuries were severe, but not fatal. She rested for days, allowing wounds to close, relying on the absence of further attacks. Her daughter returned cautiously, staying close, guarding while her mother recovered. The territory was quieter after that. The intruding male did not return. Somewhere beyond the visible horizon, the ghost resumed his solitary existence. But something had changed. Not in the savanna. In him. The savanna returned to its natural rhythm. Dust settled. The night cooled. Life moved forward without acknowledgement. The lioness remained hidden for several days after the attack, allowing her wounds to heal. She moved carefully, conserving energy, relying on experience rather than strength. Her daughter stayed close, alert to every sound, every shadow. No intruders returned. The male who had attacked was gone, pushed away by injury and risk. With time, the lioness hunted again, slowly, methodically. Each successful kill restored stability to her territory. She survived, not because the world showed mercy, but because she endured long enough for balance to return. The ghost was not seen again in that region. He moved on, as solitary males often do. Rangers spotted him years later in distant areas, always alone, always silent. He never claimed a pride, never roared to announce his presence. He remained what survival had shaped him into, cautious, watchful, unseen. His body grew strong, his scars multiplied, but his behavior never changed. He had learned early that survival was not about dominance, but restraint, not about being heard, but knowing when to disappear. The lioness aged. Her movements slowed. Her daughter grew into a capable hunter. The territory endured through seasons of loss and renewal, shaped by conflict that left no visible trace. There was no reunion, no recognition. Nature does not preserve memory the way humans do. The cub that was abandoned lived. The mother who was nearly killed survived. Not because of fate, not because of emotion, but because resilience, once forged, does not vanish. The savanna does not forgive weakness, but it rewards those who adapt. And sometimes that is enough.